Today is Monday, November 18th. Wow, a week till Thanksgiving. Greens, beans, hogs, or whatever. Green, beans, potatoes. So anyway, R-chop. So R-chop is Rituxan or Rituximab. 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 R-chop. So then you have this one called doxorubicin. Doxorubicin. Next one is called cytokine, or the longer name is pronounced cyclophosphamide. Cyclophosphamide. Another one is vincristine. Vincristine. So that's the R-chop regimen. The dosage can vary. Usually when you're in the hospital, the very first one, you're inpatient. You have to be admitted, and then get the port. So the first one is a central line. The central line goes on somewhere up here. Your brachial artery. And that's just for the first, when you're in the hospital, for the first one. And then get the port. The port is a catheter. I don't know, you can see that bulging line right here. So the port is right here. The scar you see here. The port, and the catheter runs up into your runs up through your main vein. What is that called? The one that goes to your neck. And what is it? I want to say varicose, but anyway. So that's the medication, and they give you other steroids. They give you high doses of steroids, and I think they gave me prednisone, which I swelled up, and then I had to take diuretic Lasix, which is a diuretic to get water retention. So I was going to the bathroom every 30 minutes, and my leg would swell up. My leg swelled up, and they had to check for blood clots. So that was a precautionary. But usually, I think you don't swell up like that with prednisone. But I mean, my thighs, it was like maybe after two days, on the third day. Well, I think 3 days after taking the prednisone. Then on the fourth day, it was like my backside. It was swollen. It was like inflamed, like right there under the bra line. And I was like, why does this feel a little chunkier than normal? And doctors, I don't know. Like, I don't know. That don't seem, yeah, it is. And I had to turn sideways. I was like, hold on. I had to draw a circle around the area to say, no, I know we're fat, or I'm chunky, or got some bulges. And then when I told them my legs and all that, because it was my legs first, then my back, And I was like, yeah. So let me go through. So that's R-CHOP. That's the medication. Now let me explain the process. It's not just getting the injection. So they do their tests, they do labs, um, make sure there's no how you say indications or with medication you're taking. So they had to do a lumbar puncture. So and also if you ever got diagnosed or staged for a cancer diagnosis, they do a bone marrow where they go into your thigh, like right above your hip bone, which to me it was tingly. Then they wanted to try like two more times, like try like they did like 2 or 3 samples, and then they wanted to do another one. And at that point, about the third one, I was like, I'm feeling it now. No, because sometimes they say the samples may not be at best, so they check in your bone marrow, make sure it's not in your bone marrow spread. Lumbar puncture. Woo! They just wanted to use local anesthetic. They did it twice. The second time, I was like, no, stop. Hold the presses. Nope. Sorry. I gave you 2 times because they want to go through. They go through your spinal cord between, I don't know, whichever L4, L5, and there's like a little space. And you had to curl. I had to curl up like a fetal position. And no. And he was like, you sure you don't want to try again? I am positive. Do not touch me. Do not breathe on me. Nothing. I was sweating. Like, I started sweating because you could feel it. You could feel. I was like, what is you doing? You feel like you're playing ping pong in my spine. So, no. So a few days later, they put me under anesthetics. Anesthesia. I was like, thank you. Appreciate it. But I think I was coming out of it because I was like, are y'all done yet? It wasn't hurt. It didn't hurt. I didn't feel it, but, coming out of it now, I was like, what are y'all doing? Hurry up. But after that, you have a massive headache. It lasted about almost 2 weeks. I hear ringing in my ears. One of my ears. It was like that TikTok with the alligator crocodile from Peter Pan. So I'm like thinking somebody's washing clothes downstairs in my apartment because I'm hearing this sound like swoosh. So what happens is the spinal fluid is being collected and it's like collecting tree sap out of your spine, kind of like that. And over time it takes some time to build that spinal fluid back up, or whatever it does or it's doing, it's supposed to do. You get a headaches. My neck, I couldn't lay down. I had to, pop an ibuprofen. They said caffeine, for whatever reason, caffeine worked. It did. It did. I'm not a coffee drinker. I do like hot chocolate, but not a coffee drinker. So you get the lumbar puncture. And as they get in the spinal fluid, because they want to test to make sure it's not in your spine, which can go to your brain. Like the cancer can spread, and they gave me a precautionary dose of the R-CHOP just to be safe. And once, luckily, it didn't spread to my spine. So the process getting staged, staged, because you might have to have a biopsy depending on if you have any inflammation, inflamed lymph nodes or anything like that. Usually uses just like a small incision really no pain from the biopsy. But when you're doing the R-CHOP or any of the chemo, your first doses, I guess maybe people are different. Maybe some didn't go through the lumbar puncture, which I don't see anyone not getting that done. So then, like I said, swelled up from had water retention from the prednisone, from the steroids. I had to take prophylactic like antibiotics, which is like just a fancy way of saying precautionary medication so I don't get an infection because of the chemo. Your immune system becomes even more suppressed, which will allow you to get more infections. So I had to take the antibiotics, which I still do. Acyclovir, I take for 2 weeks during the cycle of chemo, or with the cycles of chemo. Um, so that is the process that I've experienced from getting, like I took you through being me diagnosed, me getting sick, to me making a decision to get chemo. Oh, and just going back to that real quick, when I was in the hospital, like I said, this was a Friday. When I told the doctors, the the team of doctors, because when you admit it, it's usually a team of doctors. In my situation, the way it was, I told them I'm gonna do chemo, and it just so happens my oncologist was on call that week. So that week I was there throughout the week. He was I saw him a couple of times. Um, so me getting diagnosed to me getting sick, which led me to being hospitalized to do chemo, the process during the hospitalization. So in the next one, I will now discuss the side effects of the chemo that I've experienced, that I can actually see. All right, and off to the next one.